Hello. Okay, so today I am coming on to talk about the topic of weight gain, set point theory, body diversity, and obesity. Some big topics that I want to cover today because I would say the very most common thing that I hear from the women that I work with, my clients or other women that I'm speaking to, it's the fear that if I keep eating in this way, I am just going to keep gaining and gaining and gaining weight. I will never stop gaining weight. So let's get right into it. On that thought, I say, your body is intelligent. Your body is brilliant. Our bodies were created to have all these amazing mechanisms in place naturally to keep us at a place of homeostasis. Your body wants you to survive. It's your body and it wants to survive. And it wants it's the body, to be as healthy as possible. So it is always going to do the thing to try to get it to be balanced in homeostasis and in its most healthy state. So if that is its only one true primary goal, why would it ask you or want you to keep gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining weight beyond what is healthiest for you? If it wants you to be healthy in its best place, why would it do that? How would that serve you? Why would it want to do that when it has all these amazing mechanisms in place that it's actually nudging at you right now? It's working literally right now to try to bring you back into a place of balance in all these things that you're experiencing, like always thinking about food, binging on food, perhaps, all sorts of different things. It's all doing that in order to try to get you back into a place of balance. And if it's working so hard to do that right now, why would it just throw all that effort aside once you have started eating more and just stop all of its possibilities of what it can do and just have you keep gaining and gaining and gaining when that doesn't serve you? Your body is intelligent. It absolutely knows how to get you in balance and get you to a place that is healthy for you and to keep you in that range so long as you work with it and allow it to do that. That is where this theory of set point comes in. When we give our bodies the chance to work and do what they need to do, they will work for us in keeping us where we are most healthy. Now, that brings up the other topic of body diversity. There is a thing called body diversity that exists on this planet. As human beings, we all come from all sorts of different histories, all sorts of different ancestry, all sorts of different cultures, countries, um, temperatures of where our ancestors come from, which means our bodies are all programmed to be different. Our world has different sizes of body based on those genetics and those cultures and those tribes that we come from ancestrally. And health is possible and does exist at all those different bodies. And we absolutely cannot know or see if someone is healthy determined by their body size. Someone can be in a larger or even an obese by BMI standards body and be perfectly healthy, meaning their blood work is on track, their other medical markers are on track, their heart rhythm is on track, and their heart health, their lungs work perfectly, perfectly well, and they're happy. They love themselves. All these true signs of health can exist in that larger body, just like all those things can also exist in a smaller body, in a thinner body. Just because someone genetically has a thinner body could mean that they're also healthy there. Vice versa, just because someone is in that thinner body doesn't mean they're healthy. It doesn't mean that's where their body is supposed to be. Maybe that person's blood work is off. Maybe they're anxious all the time. Maybe they're depressed. Maybe they're unhappy. Maybe their other medical markers aren't on track. But we can't know that. Someone in a larger body could also be unhealthy, depending on their other circumstances in their life as well. So we can never know by body size whether someone is healthy. And as a society, we need to get a heck of a lot better at accepting that. We need to accept that body diversity is a real thing, that bodies come in all shapes and sizes, and that that's who that individual is supposed to be. And we as a society need to get a lot better at putting our egos aside and thinking that we know better than biology or know better than our body, because we don't. This is a bit of a rant, I guess, that I'm getting passionate about, but we need to accept that body diversity is a thing and that fighting that is what's going to lead us to struggle. So again, we need to put the egos aside and let biology ring true so you can be free and happy. Okay, that rant aside. But if you want more on the health at every size movement, which says the health at every size movement does not say that you have to be in a larger body to be healthy, but it's saying that we can be healthy at all sizes. That's where there's some conflict about the health at every size movement, is saying, well, then it's just telling me to eat more and be bigger. No. It's just saying that health is possible at all sizes, all sizes. And if you want more specific information on that, comment below this video or let me know and I will send you info. The other thing, okay, so that was all stemming from this idea that people say, I'm just going to keep gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining weight. So then when I talk about what I just talked about, saying our bodies are intelligent and they know what to do to find your balance and to keep you there. And they will do that. Then my clients come to me and say, or at least the biggest argument then is, but then how come there are so many obese people in the world? If our bodies really want to have a set point range that is healthy, why do we see people in this world who are overweight and unhealthy at that place? So for this, each one of us has a genetic makeup. We all have genes inside of us that is like a programming that tells our bodies how to react or respond and what to do with specific triggers or when things happen. Let me just grab a sip of water here. I got fiery. Oh, geez. When it comes to energy deficit, meaning a scarcity of resources, a scarcity of food that is coming into the body, meaning less energy coming in than that is being exerted. There are two different genetic responses that people have. Some people have what is called a migratory response to energy deficit. This means that when that person's body perceives a lack of energy, a lack of resources, not getting enough food, that body goes into this migratory response where it sort of says, holy smokes, there's not enough out there. That means we actually have to be really careful with our resources, eat less, less, and we got to move. We got to move faster because biologically that goes back to migration. We got to get to a place that has food. You see this in nature. Birds do this at the change of season. They gotta pack their stuff up and head to a place with more resources. And they're flying for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. They're moving. But for some people, that's what happens when they get to the threshold where their body is in a energy deficit. Maybe that means they've lost weight to a certain place. There's actually this like threshold where physically, if you've been through this, maybe you've even experienced where you'll get to a certain weight and you'll get more anxious, or you'll become more restrictive, or you'll have more fears of eating, because that's when you enter energy deficit land and you enter into a place of migration where your body then says, eat less, move more. The other genetic response that some people have in response to food scarcity, dieting, restriction is called hibernation. And this is the body's genetic response of saying, oh my goodness, you're not taking in enough energy. We have to store up. We have to store fat on your body because obviously it's not safe out there. We need to store it, which means dieting is what leads to obesity. There's different medical things, and I'm not going to get into those details. I'm focusing today on the fact that restriction is what's leading to obesity. Because for some people, that act of restriction and energy deficit, they have the genetic makeup of hibernation. And that's what their body will do. Brilliantly so. If we were actually in a place of starvation and a apocalyptic world where no more food, the body is so brilliant to know that and to say, I want to protect you most out of anything. So I'm going to make sure that you store energy on your body so you can survive. The body is brilliant. It's doing what it's trying to do just to protect someone. But that is happening because of the restriction, because of the diet mentality, because of the diet mindset and the diet actions that are happening. So this thought that comes in when you think, if I just keep eating and eating and eating and eating, I am going to keep gaining weight and become obese. That is also exhibiting a preconceived judgment that that is what obese people are doing, that they're only eating forever and ever. And that is not true. And that is a judgment that is okay to have, but you need to recognize that you have. I need to do that work to let go of that judgment, because that's unfair to so many people. That is not what they're doing. Most likely, they are trying very hard to lose that weight. And unfortunately, that is actually what's keeping the weight on or keeping the weight growing, that act of dieting. They're probably on diets, and probably something that led to a lot of obesity is the fact of being on a diet for their entire lives, for years and years and years, being on restrictive diets or trying to lose weight. That is what has led to this obesity. So again, we're judging that someone who's in a bigger body only eats and eats all day long, when that is not true at all. They're probably doing the absolute opposite. But because of their genetic makeup, their body has a different automatic response to that place of deprivation, to that place of energy deficit, because they're in energy deficit too. It doesn't matter how big the body is. It depends on how much energy they're taking in, how much energy you're taking in. That determines energy deficit. An energy deficit will have these two different reactions. So if you want to get to a place where your body is healthy and it stays there, it's not restricting. It's the opposite. It's doing the work of freeing yourself from diet culture beliefs and doing the work of freeing yourself from fears around food that have been created by diet culture and eating without restriction. Letting go of the diet mentality. That is what's going to lead you to stay at a place that is healthiest for you. We can't fight our biology. It's fighting biology that leads to all suffering. It's fighting ourselves that leads to all suffering. And if you are meant to be in a certain body, you fighting that is what's going to lead to all struggle and all strife. So then the real work becomes accepting yourself for who you are meant to be and what body size you are meant to have to be healthy. Because if you're fighting it right now and you're resisting it, you aren't healthy, physically or mentally or spiritually. And you got to ask yourself, what do I want? Do I want to fight my biology for the rest of life and be miserable and unhealthy? Or do I want to do the work of accepting myself for who I'm supposed to be and where my body is supposed to be at so that I can have freedom? And eventually I can learn to love myself, accept myself, and be happy. I think that's all I'm going to say on that topic. If you want information on body diversity, these things I've talked about, obesity, and the studies behind why diets don't work. You could, not that I'm a fan of like just Googling and researching through Google, but you could Google why diets don't work. And there's all sorts of research that have proven why diets don't work and how dieting is the leading cause of obesity. One more thing I want to mention. If you're having these thoughts that say, but I'm just going to keep gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining, that is also a sign that that's a disordered eating thought and that you have a disordered eating part of you and or you have an eating disorder. And that right there is a sign right now to do the work, to be free from that thought and to be free from those fears. Having that thought is a sign to do the work. If you have any questions, if you want to work on this to start finally getting through these beliefs and fears so you can get to a body that's meant to be for you, then reach out. I am taking on new clients in the new year, one-on-one clients, and I would love to help you break free from all this mess and strife and struggle. Comment below if you have anything to say or send me an email. Talk soon.